हेलो सैसी नारी, थैंक यू फॉर ज्वाइनिंग मी टुडे। तो ये है नए लिटिल फिक्सेस का पहला इंटरव्यू और आज बात करेंगे ऑटो पायलट मोड की। देखो, एरोप्लेन में ऑटो पायलट ज़रूरी है पर हमारी लाइफ में बिल्कुल नहीं। पर आजकल ज़्यादातर लोग ऑटो पायलट मोड पे ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं और ये ज़्यादा कॉमन हो जाता है जब बात हो एक मैरिड लेडी की लाइफ की। घर में सबका ध्यान रखो, जॉब है तो वो देखो, बच्चे हैं तो उनकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, फिर और कुछ टाइम मिले तो हम फोन और टीवी में बिजी हो जाते हैं। हर वक्त इमीडिएट नीड्स पे फोकस करते करते वी मिस आउट ऑन थिंकिंग बियॉन्ड द नेक्स्ट मोमेंट और फिर ओवरवेल्म, एंग्जाइटी और स्ट्रेस आ जाते हैं। पर आखिर कब तक हम ऐसे रहेंगे? देयर इज अ बेटर वे और आज आपको पता चलेगा वो क्या है और कैसे हम उसको अपनी लाइफ में ला सकते हैं। I am speaking with Shweta Shivaraman. Shweta is a corporate banker turned self mastery coach. She is passionate about maximizing life for herself and others. Shweta founded Being Miraculous in her quest to understand what it takes to live a good life and support others in the journey of becoming. Through podcasts, workshops, and coaching, she facilitates the journey from self awareness to self transformation so high achievers can find both success and peace. Her first non-fiction book, Far From Fine, was published by Hay House India in June 2024. Before hearing from Shweta, please follow Little Fixes on your podcast app and share it with a friend जिसे इसकी ज़रूरत हो। Hey Sassy Nari, welcome to Little Fixes. This is Maitri, a social media professional, a wife and a mother. Marriage is one of the biggest steps we take. And on this podcast, we discuss finding ourselves after happily ever after. थोड़े आइडियाज, थोड़े रैंट्स और बहुत सारा फूड फॉर थॉट। जॉइन मी एंड माई गेस्ट बिकॉज वी गेट यू। एंड नाउ टू आवर गेस्ट। हाय श्वेता, वेलकम बैक टू लिटिल फिक्सेस।
Hi, Maitri. So nice to be back here.
तो श्वेता, आपने एक बुक लिख दी है, कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस ऑन दैट। सिंस लास्ट टाइम अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स हैव चेंज्ड एंड when you announced it, matlab you were already giving us hints in your stories कि a book is coming, and then it came and I saw the topic. It was really relevant to all of us. It is really relevant to everyone because हम सभी ऑटो पायलट पे ही जी रहे हैं and we don't have time to look up कि करना क्या है आगे, कैसे प्लान बनाए मोमेंट में ही रहने में। अब मोमेंट में रहने का भी मतलब है वी आर नॉट प्रेजेंट, वी आर जस्ट डूइंग थिंग्स जो अभी अभी करनी, बस करते जा रहे, उसके आगे कुछ नहीं हो रहा है। तो ऑटो पायलट इतना तो मुझे समझ में आता है, बट क्योंकि आपकी बुक में है ही ऑटो पायलट के बारे में, तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल प्लीज टेल अस कि व्हाट डज इट मीन टू लिव ऑन ऑटो पायलट।
Yeah, sure. And you're absolutely right. हम बहुत बार we are always living on autopilot without even recognizing. A few signs I always say about autopilot living is when we are in a state of constant stress or anxiety, a state of constant busyness, right? हम बस भाग रहे एक चीज के बाद एक. There's never an end line, and we've all said this, right? कि वो एक project खत्म होने के बाद then I will take a break. वो once after I finish this milestone, then I'll do this. But as adults we know that time never comes, right? So we are constantly chasing. But a couple of signs is that you're constantly stressed or anxious. There is this feeling of dread that you're not able to explain or understand. There is a discord in relationships. You're not able to meaningfully connect. There is a constant avoidance. Maybe you're procrastinating on a particular project over and over again because you don't have the mind space to actually think about it. Or say you know that you need to switch out of your job, but you will never prepare that resume or actually do apply, right? Because you're just so in the state of what you said, urgent kaam karte, right? Like whatever firefighting you need to do to kind of go from one day to the next, all your focus, energy and attention is invested in that. And because there is constantly a friction in the mind, kya hota hai ki we get exhausted. It takes so much more out of us just to do those bare minimum that कि बाकी बड़ी चीज़ों सोचने के लिए हमारे पास वक्त ही नहीं होता है. So we doom scroll to feel something, right? Because we otherwise emotionally numb. So we're like, चलो scroll करके at least maybe we'll feel something better. So we do all of these coping mechanisms to keep us going from that, on that firefighting mode. But broadly, these are the signs. You're feeling dissatisfied, you're feeling unhappy, you're feeling discontent. मजा नहीं आ रहा है कोई भी चीज में, राइट? इवन द थिंग्स दैट यू लव टू डू probably don't feel as fulfilling as they once used to. So all of these are usually some signs that you can look out for that says that maybe something is not right at a deeper level.
या बट ये हो क्यों रहा है? बिकॉज हम बहुत टाइम से लोगों को देखते आ रहे हैं। जब हम लोग छोटे थे तब पता नहीं ऐसा होता था कि नहीं होता, एटलीस्ट बिकॉज वी वर यंग, वी वर नॉट लिविंग एन ऑटो पायलट। इन माई अडल्ट लाइफ इनिशियली मैंने इतना नहीं सोचा था इस बारे में, और अलग तरीका था रहने का। बट सिंस लास्ट फ्यू इयर्स आई हैव नोटिस्ड कि मैं यही कर रही हूँ, एक चीज के बाद दूसरी चीज, दूसरी चीज। और अगर गलती से ब्रेक ले भी लिया ना, तो उसमें भी आई एम वर्किंग। मतलब काम के बारे में ही सोच रहे हैं, अगर फिजिकली नहीं तो मेंटली तो काम कर ही रहे हैं। एंड इट्स नॉट जस्ट मी, माई हस्बैंड इज द सेम, एंड आई अ लॉट ऑफ अस आर द सेम। और हम उसको जानते भी हैं, उसके बाद भी हम ब्रेक नहीं ले पाते हैं। तो ये हो ही क्यों रहा है?
I think to a large extent, one of course is dissatisfaction, right? When we are not enjoying what we are doing, or what we are doing on a regular basis is causing us pain or discomfort in a very large extent. Like imagine if you were to put your hand in the fire, it burns, right? The minute it burns, you know that okay, no matter what, I will not put my hand in the fire again. So, say for example, at work or in your life, you feel stuck or stagnant for whatever reason. And because you're feeling that stuck or stagnant, it makes you feel very helpless. Like, I can't change, right? Because by the time we get to this stage, we are all recognizing that, hey, you have a mortgage, you have this to pay, you have responsibilities, you have to take care of your parents. There are multiple responsibilities. So, you realize that, okay, I cannot move out of this space. So that stuck or stagnant feeling then makes you feel very helpless. So then what you do is that you try to avoid it. So you'll ignore, pretend it doesn't exist, neglect it, be busy, travel across the world because you're like, oh, hey, at least I can afford the luxury to do all of that. So you distract and digress, redirect that worries of, oh, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, oh, I don't know how all of this is going to add up, right? And what you mentioned, Maitri, about not being able to take a break or step back is because that longer horizon or perspective is not there, right? We are constantly trying to get somewhere and we already feel we are behind,
Hmm.
right? We're constantly having that impatience or the rush to arrive somewhere, and we're like in that space of constantly feeling like it's not enough, I'm not doing enough, I need to do more. So what happens is that in a way our perspective gets very myopic. Instead of really looking at life as a whole, as a marathon, as multiple decades that contribute to something meaningful, what we do is that, again, it comes from that constant stress. Because when we are stressed, what are we trying to do? We're just trying to outrun that tiger that's probably chasing us in our head, right? So our perspective only becomes very myopic to say, what is it urgently that I need to solve for? Can I address this? Then I can rest, right? So we're constantly trying to outrun the tiger, but the thing is that there is no tiger. Right? It is social media, it is our own unreasonable expectations, society's standards of who we should be, how we should be, what success is, and that chase is endless.
Hmm.
So even a deer that is being chased by a tiger, once it stops, once it notices that it has outrun the tiger, it will stop and chill, right? It will allow the heart rate to come back to normal, and then it will go back to grazing on the grass like nothing happened. But we don't do that. So our stress response then remains on 24 by 7. uh, Imagine, like, you're constantly running the car on fourth gear. At
Hmm.
some point the engine is going to break down.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the reason why it happens is because we just don't know how to deal with it. For example, when I was, say, dissatisfied at corporate, and I would talk to people around me, people will just say, "Arey, ye hota hai. This is adult life, right?" What happens is that we follow like a society's formula of success, right? That graduation karo, post graduation karo, naukri lene ke baad keep growing in the career, and then suddenly you reach a point and say that, "Hey, this is not meaningful for me. This is not the life I intended. Maybe I don't feel as challenged as I am. Maybe there's something more that I can contribute to the world, which I'm not doing at this point." But the problem is, by then we've forgotten how to ask those questions, right? Who am I? What do I want? None of those questions we have answers to. So that we get into that state of stuckness, and then living on autopilot is a survival strategy. Because if I'm constantly feeling hurt, if I'm constantly feeling pain, if I'm constantly feeling dissatisfaction, I want to protect myself from that pain. So what do? I keep myself busy. So if I'm busy doing 100 things 24 by 7, I don't have the time to ask the big existential questions, right? Or I do an OTT binge. Maybe I drown myself in a K drama and go into whatever thing the characters are going through there, forget my own miseries.
Hmm.
And that's what we do. We keep escaping the mind. But what happens is that we carry the mind everywhere. So even if I travel to Antarctica, the same mind questioning, what am I doing? Why am I doing what I'm doing, is still there. That's why we don't feel that relaxation even when we take a break. rather it is more stressful.
हम्म. यस इट इज. पर अगर मैं अपनी बात करूं
Hmm.
तो माई पर्सनल लाइफ इज गुड. माई प्रोफेशनल लाइफ इज ऑल्सो गुड. मुझे पॉडकास्ट करना अच्छा लगता है, मैं कर रही हूँ. पॉडकास्ट इज ऑल्सो डूइंग ओके. मतलब सोशल मीडिया पे कंपेयर अगर मत करो कि कौन क्या कर रहा है तो इट इज़ डूइंग ओके एंड आई एम गेटिंग टू डू एक्साइटिंग थिंग्स. सोशल मीडिया पे जो मेरा काम है वो भी सही चल रहा है. तो फिर मुझे ऐसा क्यों फील हो रहा है कि मज़ा नहीं आ रहा इवन दो एवरीथिंग लुक्स फाइन ऑन द सरफेस.
Very interesting question. I think that's where it begins with really understanding who you are and what you value, right? So, what you're saying is that on the surface, I'm checking all the boxes. I'm doing all the things right in terms of having a good relationship, doing things that I need to do as my personal responsibilities, showing up for my work in terms of podcasting. But there's some core value that you value that you're probably not missing, that you're missing today, right? So maybe explore saying, what is that value? Maybe go back to who you were as a kid, what you used to really value and cherish, and who that inner child will feel proud of, that, oh, I've made this, I get to do this every single day, right? So trying to understand what that value is and how do you make it happen in your daily life today, right? Maybe as a child you might have wanted to, I don't know, dance all night long, right? Today maybe dancing all night long might make you get up with a headache the next day morning, right? So while you might recognize that the
रादर.
exactly. So while you might understand that, okay, that is not a practical dream, but maybe dancing for 15 minutes in a day or every two couple of days, maybe it'll bring your joy back in life. So what we need to realize is that humans are very meaning making machines, right? Hum meaning khud banate hain. It is not something like, I often say that, stop saying find meaning. What you're doing is creating meaning through your life, right? So it is a very good reflection point to probably ask and say, what is missing, right? Why do I still not feel as fulfilled or satisfied, given that I am doing a lot of things that I love? There might be some element that is probably not fully allowed expression. Maybe see, maybe somewhere you're taking a should or a must based on somebody else's expectations, which is not yours. Maybe there is a space of, maybe you just want to rest and not do anything. Trying to prove yourself to other people is taking a toll on you, and sometimes all you want to do is do nothing. So it could also be the other way, right? It's not just about doing new things. It could also be that I need to give myself permission to rest and not do anything for a couple of weeks. How will that be? Yeah. So different ways, but look at what value is missing. I would say that will be your key point to begin the reflection.
ओके एंड हाउ डू आई फाइंड आउट कि कौन सी वैल्यू मिसिंग है.
So a good way to exercise this is that, so in the book also there is an entire chapter around know your values. Pick up that to see how you can find out, right? So one way to look at it is that, what are my core values? So all of us have certain core values that are absolutely non-negotiable, right? So say for example, I had a client whose core value was integrity. So she was doing very well in her career in marketing, in growing at the pace at which she wanted. Compensation was great, but again she came to me saying the same thing, saying that, Shweta, I'm feeling unfulfilled and I don't know why, right? So she was putting her MBA to use and doing everything right. And when she actually looked at her core values and listed out, what she realized was that her value of integrity was being compromised because she was working for an oil and gas company that was harming environment in a very large way, but as a marketer she was doing something else, right, to promote that they were not really doing all of those things. And that was where her dissatisfaction was starting from. So one way to look at it is to really look at a list of values. If you just Google online, right, values ka ek list mil jayega. Look at all of those values and pin it down to say the top 10. Once you have the top 10, pin it down to say what the top 5 are. Or you can do the exercises that are there in the book and see what is coming up for you as the top non negotiable values. And then maybe just rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. How many, how much of that value are you living every single day? Right? It is not just about having the value, but that value also needs to find a space in your life. And when you do that exercise, maybe you'll narrow down saying that, okay, out of these 5, maybe this is not there. So maybe you have freedom, maybe you have creative expression, maybe you have a couple of other things, but maybe one element is not missing. So try and find out what that element is and do it. Another way that I always like to look at it, right? So if you, one is where you go into an exploration of a value and what is missing. Another way to look at it is this common example that I always say: find the pebble in the shoe, right? So imagine you're walking a distance. There will be a small pebble in your shoe. If there is a tiny pebble in your shoe, it will cause a little bit of friction, right?
Yeah.
Every other day, it will cause a little bit of friction or nuisance. It may not be a big thing, right? Your life is still going on track and you'll still be able to walk even with that tiny pebble in your shoe. But it is causing some sort of friction. So, in your daily life, a good way to see is to look at those signs. What is that pebble in your shoe? Is it meeting with some people? Is it engaging in certain tasks? Where is it that you feel that friction on a daily basis? And then look deeper. What about it is not working out for you? What about it is triggering you? What, the presence of it or the lack of, the absence of it, both can cause friction, right? So look at, that's why I say that when we journal at the end of every single day, right? We spoke about journaling in your previous episode also, but when you journal at the end of every single day and say, hey, today was a 5 because I did this, or today was a 5 because I didn't do this, you start noticing these patterns, right? What makes your good days brilliant? What makes your bad days terrible? Then you'll start noticing what that missing element is towards finding that meaning of fulfillment.
ओके, सो यू गेव द एग्जाम्पल ऑफ पेबल इन द शू. तो वो चीज़ हमारे पास या तो है या नहीं है, एंड इट्स कॉजिंग फ्रिक्शन. तो अगर कोई चीज़ हमारे पास नहीं है तो वी कैन वर्क टूवर्ड्स अचीविंग इट. लेकिन अगर कोई चीज़ हमारे पास है, मान लो हमें अपना जॉब नहीं अच्छा लग रहा है या कोई चीज़ नहीं अच्छी लग रही है, बट बिकॉज ऑफ आवर करेंट सर्कमस्टांसेस वी कांट लेट इट गो. तो फिर हम उस पेबल को अपने साथ रख के भी कैसे सिचुएशन से डील करें कि वी फील बेटर.
Yeah, yeah. And for this, I think one of the books I read by Eckhart Tolle gave the perfect formula, and I keep repeating it everywhere I go because I find it just so useful. Like you said, that there are certain things that we cannot run away from. अगर कोई मजबूरी है या हमारा responsibilities है, वो निभाना पड़ेगा, right? So in that case, what do we do? So Eckhart, in his book Power of Now, he actually gives a 3-step thing, right? So anything that feels discomforting, like this pebble in the shoe, that is causing you discomfort on a regular basis. So one thing you can do: pick up that pebble, throw it out of your shoe, right? Very easy. You remove it in your life. So a simple example is, say you scroll social media but you feel depressed after that. Simple thing: delete the app, right? It doesn't add any value to your life. It's okay. Now say you're a social media marketer, right? Now, even though the app is a challenge, you can't remove it from your life. It is an integral core part of your life. So that's where the second step that he says is modify it, right? So what do you mean by modifying it? Can you put those digital limits or usage, right? That, can I use it only for a couple of hours in a day, not more than that? Or say if we are in a corporate setting, can we have conversations with our boss to say, these are certain boundaries I'd like to enforce because it's not working, right? Maybe when the work is spilling over the weekends is a non-negotiable for me. Can we find ways? Can we get more resources in our team so that the work can be split because I'm feeling overwhelmed, right? So you're renegotiating or modifying your current circumstance to feel a little bit more palatable for you, right? So you're trying to figure out, like, think of it like you're putting a band-aid over the pebble. So it doesn't really prick you as much. It's still there in a part of your shoe, but it doesn't prick you as much. And the other is that you, third and probably the most difficult that we find, which is you can't remove it and you can't modify it, right? So say you have a toxic boss, a micromanager, and there is no scope of having conversations with him, and the organizational culture is bad, that I can't even go to an HR and raise these issues and find reasonable solutions. And you know that, say, the job market is bad, there's nothing I can do. Accept it. Accept it wholeheartedly that this is your current reality. If you notice, हमारा suffering कहाँ से आता है? When we are seeing that this is what it is and we are not okay with what is, right? So we are resisting what is, constantly conflicting and fighting with it. So when we are able to truly accept it, we say that, okay, what I'm realizing is that I'm in a dead end job, and maybe I will continue applying. I will keep doing everything I can, but I need to realize that this is my reality, say, for the next 6 to 8 months. Given my financial commitments, I can't afford to leave the job or take a break at this moment. So, can I accept it? What will happen is that you will not think about the job or how bad it is or how terrible the boss is, how horrible the work culture is outside of work, because you've accepted your reality. नहीं तो क्या होता है, हैव यू एवर मेट दीज पीपल हु विल कॉन्स्टेंटली क्रिब अबाउट देयर वर्क, उसके अलावा और कुछ बात ही वो नहीं कर पाते, बिकॉज इट इज टेकन ओवर देम, राइट? इट इज कंज्यूमिंग देम सो एंटायरली दैट उनको और कुछ दिखता ही नहीं है. Why? Because they are so uncomfortable with it and they are resisting it with all their life. But it doesn't solve the problem, right? So when we accept, what we do is that, okay, that's 16 hours or 12 hours or 10 hours, wherever I am, how many hours I'm giving to that work, it is going to be bad. It is not going to be challenging. How can I make the remaining 14 hours of my day useful, right? What can I do to take care of myself in these 6 8 months, so that I don't let that organizational culture crush my spirit. I don't let my boss take away my confidence. That's how you work with it.
ओके ओके वाओ वेरी नाइसली एक्सप्लेन्ड आई रियली एंजॉयड लिसनिंग टू इट और जो आपने तीन चीज़ें बताई उसको आई थिंक हम सभी फॉलो कर सकते हैं तो आई
It's
एम गोइंग
applicable everywhere.
या यस तो अब श्वेता हमने बात की कि हमें ऑटो पायलट पे नहीं रहना चाहिए राइट और कुछ उसके लिए करना चाहिए अपने लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स होने चाहिए उन पे काम करना चाहिए तो जो ये हमारे लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स हैं हम ये बनाए कैसे और उन पे वर्क कैसे करें बिकॉज वी आर ऑब्वियसली लिविंग इन ऑटो पायलट तो पहले उस मोड से बाहर आना पड़ेगा फिर उन गोल्स को बनाना पड़ेगा फिर उन पे काम करना पड़ेगा मतलब ये प्रोसेस ही बहुत लंबा है और हम पहले ही डर जाते आ रहे यार कौन करे छोड़ो
Absolutely
so
true.
what should be our first step and how do we go about it from there.
Yeah, beautifully explained. And when I was writing the book, also that's where I realized, right? Because हम ये जो speed में दौड़ रहे हैं, वो speed को, how do you even stop it? Because वो status quo में we've been running for so long. And what I identified, at least from my journey and the journeys I've seen my clients go through in coaching conversations, is that the first step is to come to a state of resourcefulness, right? What happens when we are this wired and stressed and anxious is that our capabilities, right, हमारा सोचने का तरीका, हमारा options, हमारी abilities, all of them get compromised whether we realize it or not. So the first step is to find a way to come back to balance. And what do I mean by balance? This is our basic things of managing our physical quotient, managing our mental quotient, and I talk about these four in the book as well, saying that it's physical, mental, intellectual, and spiritual, right? We need all four pieces to kind of come aligned to ourselves, so that we are a little bit more stable as people, right? Stable, so that we don't get triggered at every chance. We are not constantly defensive trying to protect ourselves. We are more open and at ease. And physical, we all know, right? All our nutrition, sleep, exercise, movement, all of those things, ensuring that those basics are done. Mental is our emotional well-being, right? Can we ensure that we are conscious about what are the emotions that we are constantly feeling, and are able to manage it in a certain way. Intellectual is equally important in the sense that we are stimulated and challenged, right? We are human beings with a lot of intellectual capacity, and we do feel jaded when we don't use our mind, right? So that could be maybe learning something new, tuning into podcasts like yours to broaden your mind and really get new ideas, right? And spiritual quotient, again, is very important. It's not a religious thing. If you are religious and have a faith, beautiful, great. Even otherwise, we all need to recognize that we are all, there is a higher force beyond us, and having that connection. And it doesn't have to be universal force or cosmic force. Say you're very logical and you believe in science, right? Science can be something you're devoted to and really live by those principles. So it doesn't really matter that it has to be spiritual as in divine. Whatever you have your faith on, a higher power, a higher force. Why? Because it gives you that feeling of connection. One of the biggest challenges most of us feel is that we feel isolated, cut off, like nobody's there to help us. It's like backs against the wall, right? So these kind of things actually help us feel that sense of connectedness. And when we have all of this, and this is not something that's new, if we go back in our Indic history, the Panchakosha theory talks about this, right? That there are 5 sheets we each have: the physical, the mental, the intellectual. And that, if you notice, all of it is kind of connected to say that if we are balanced in all of these 4 quotients, what happens is that we are no longer in that fight flight mode. We are more stable, we are more available. All our abilities and capabilities are available. Why? Because like, for example, one common thing that people come to me and ask me, saying that, should I quit my job? And I'm like, whenever you're in that state, don't quit your job, because you're already so overwhelmed and consumed, and you're not in your best thinking capacity. That is not, you don't want to quit out of desperation. You want it to be a very conscious choice. Once you realize that you're not running away from something, but you're running towards something, right? So the first thing is to come back to a state of balance. And once you're in a state of balance, what happens is that you can see things clearly, right? You're no longer in a fight mode. You're able to say, okay, this is my situation. I can objectively look at it. And that is where the next step comes, saying that let's start becoming more self aware. Who am I? What do I value? What does success mean to me? What is most meaningful for me to build or create in this life? And building that pieces of meaning in our day to day lives in a single way. That's where what we spoke about values also comes in, right? What are my values? How are they missing in my day to day life? All of this basically gives us clarity to move away from that manufactured life and manufactured result, right? Ki, do an engineer, do a doctor, or complete your MBA and you're set for life. We move away from that and we say that, okay, Shweta, as a person, maybe values freedom and creative expression. How will she find this in her day to day job? She also values connection. So, how will she find that in her life? So, all of us are so unique that even though the values might be the same, the combination of it and the meaning I make of it will be very different, right? So, the second step is to really become clear. And then, once you have this clarity on what that long term goal is, right, a good way to think about it is at the end of your days, what will make you feel proud that, hey, I lived my life well? And that's such a huge thing to be able to say that. We've all seen generations older than us who aren't really ending their life with that feeling of satisfaction and joy. So to really say that, hey, what will really make this life meaningful for me? And then, of course, the answers you might get might be very overwhelming. So try and break it down into bite sized goals so that you are clear saying, okay, my next step is to move towards this, right? So break it down into smaller bite sized goals. And a big challenge is that once you get this clarity, all our doubts, fears, insecurities will come up. Am I good enough? Will this work? Will I, what if I fail? What will other people think? All of these things will come up. And solving for that and finding our confidence is also part of that journey, wherein you get more and more comfortable with who you are, the choices you make. You don't feel the need to justify or validate your choices. You know why you're doing what you're doing, and that gives you that sense of contentment and the fuel to keep going, right? So it's a very long journey. I would recommend not doing it alone. Do it with a community, do it with your friends, do it with a coach, whoever you think is a good partner to have you along in that journey, because this is a lifelong journey of self improvement and evolution. It is not that today I journaled and I asked myself, what do I want? Tomorrow I have the answer, and day after tomorrow I'm on top of the world. Sadly, it doesn't work that way. This is a lifetime work, or if you're someone who believes many, many lifetimes work, right? So be very patient, be very gentle with yourself as you go along.
हम्म। या आई थिंक हम लोग ना तुरंत सोचने लगते हैं तुरंत रिजल्ट आ जाए, तुरंत अच्छा फील होने लगे, या हम तुरंत सक्सेसफुल हो जाएं। जब ऐसी चीज़ें आने लगती है ना तो हम बहुत जल्दी गिव अप करने लगते हैं, अच्छा ये हुआ ही नहीं, अरे ये अचीव कर लिया बट अभी भी ना आई एम नॉट फीलिंग दैट ग्रेट अंदर से। तो क्योंकि हम दूसरी चीज़ देखने लगते हैं। तो आई थिंक जैसा आपने बोला भी कि इट्स अ लाइफ टाइम जर्नी, तो ये मत सोचो कि आज करके ख़त्म और उसके बाद बस हो गया, निर्वाणा अचीव कर लिया, ऐसा कुछ होने नहीं वाला है।
बिल्कुल भी नहीं।
तो यू विल कीप डूइंग इट। आई थिंक यही लाइफ है, हम एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते, हमें लगता है कि हाँ वो चीज़ है, जब मिल जाएगी हो जाएगा, बट ऐसा होता नहीं है। और हम अलग अलग, मुझे एक ये चीज़ भी हमेशा लगती है कि लाइफ की हर फेज में हम अलग अलग गोल्स बनाते हैं। ऐसा नहीं है कि 2 साल पहले जो मेरा गोल था वो शायद वो आज नहीं है।
Yeah.
ऐसा नहीं होता कि हमेशा गोल आपका सेम रहे। तो उस चीज़ के लिए भी कॉग्नाइजेंट रहना बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि कई बार मेरे साथ पहले ऐसा होता था, अरे पहले मैं ये चाहती थी अब नहीं चाहती हूँ, वाई? मतलब ऐसा क्यों कर रही हूँ मैं? वाई हैव आई चेंज्ड? एम आई अ बैड पर्सन? एम आई अ फिकल पर्सन? बहुत ऐसे थॉट्स आते थे। बट धीरे धीरे मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि इट इज़ नॉर्मल, बिकॉज यू लर्न न्यू थिंग्स, यू ग्रो एज अ पर्सन, तो आपके गोल्स चेंज होंगे। तो
Yeah.
ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग रहा है और अभी भी चल रहा है, इट्स अ कांस्टेंट प्रोसेस। तो फ्रॉम यू आई वुड लाइक टू नो कि आपने मे बी ऐसा कोई लॉन्ग टर्म गोल बनाया हो, उसके लिए काम किया हो, तो हमें अपना प्रोसेस बताइए कि व्हाट वाज द गोल एंड हाउ यू वेंट अबाउट इट।
Yeah, absolutely. I think being miraculous was one of those things that was born out of this long term vision, saying, who do I really want to be in life? And it came as a simple vision where I saw myself in a particular setup, and that setup was completely foreign to who I was earlier or what I was doing, right? And it's still so far away. But I had that vision, and what I felt in that vision was very, very strong, saying that this is something that is worth creating. And that is how it started. There was a clarity that being miraculous always was something that was more than me. And the quest was very simple, right? It was, what does it take to live life well? I think everything that I do in Being Miraculous, be it the book, be it podcast, be it our coaching, be it our community workshops and journaling workshops, all of it is simply to create that awareness and be that catalyst so that people recognize for themselves and choose more intentionally, so that we don't really suffer our minds in the process, right? So, all the steps that I mentioned as a part of the book was also equally a part of my journey. One was to recognize that things are out of balance, to really come back into a state of composure, if I can call it, and then say, okay, now that I can recognize that I'm in a state of stability, what is it that I want to create? And the clarity emerged for Being Miraculous, and this clarity emerged in pieces. I started Being Miraculous as a blog in 2016, and it kept emerging and evolving. At 2019 is when we started the podcast. In 2020, I realized that there were so many DMs that were coming saying that, what should I do with my life? Should I quit my job? Should I move out of my relationship? And I realized that I needed to do coaching as a way to actually be there for my clients, saying that, can I offer that support of evoking that self-awareness for them? So that's where 2020, I got trained as a coach and started offering coaching as a service. And then I said, just these coaching initiatives is also not enough. People need continuous support. So how can we really do journaling workshops or community get-togethers, so that people have a support system to do what they need to do on a consistent basis, because this personal growth journey is so tedious and difficult for people to stick around. So Being Miraculous also emerged in layers and layers, and the question that I kept asking myself was, what is the next right step? I may not be able to see all the pieces of how it all adds up in the long run, but I can see the next three steps, right? Or I can see what is that next step I need to take. And simply trusting your intuition. And that is also something that happens with time. I often get this question saying, Shweta, how do you know? Is it imagination? Is it your fear talking? Is it just a wild guess of what you want to do? How do you trust yourself? And I think that is also like a muscle that you build, right? When you listen to yourself, when you follow certain guidelines, and then you see that, okay, this is working, this is not working, and you start trusting the process of what works and what doesn't work and what works for you, and really being able to do it, right? And having that confidence. So for me also, I took the decision to do Being Miraculous at 26, and then I started my journey of certifying as a coach at 28. Right, it took a lot of self-doubt in terms of, who am I? I remember for the first year I wouldn't even use the word coach against my name, right? Because there was just so much doubt, saying that, who am I to be a coach? Not too many gray hairs still, like, what is this really even, right? So it is also a journey of me growing through my work, wherein I realized, I started having faith in myself. I started recognizing that what I do matters. The work that I do is important. And even if it is just for me to go through it, or some other person, right? Even if it's just one more person other than me who needs what I'm doing, it is worth it. And then showing up, right? Showing up unwaveringly. I have shown up in workshops where it has been one person. I did not, deter because there were no sign-ups for my particular workshop. You have to be very, very perseverant in making your dreams happen. So I would definitely say unwavering perseverance is a key denominator. And I love this quote by Jiddu Krishnamurti, where he had given the speech when he moved out of the Theosophical Society, saying that, I'm here to do something that matters to me, and I will do it no matter you pay attention or not. And I really took that to heart, because it was so beautiful the way he said it, because at the end of the day we are doing it for ourselves also, right? And I said that I will show up no matter what for this dream that we have. And having that perseverance has ensured that, of course, there will be roadblocks, but can you still keep coming back to it? And then, of course, the bigger key is patience. You don't see the results overnight, you don't even see them over years. These things are building blocks that are so subtle and so small, and they will take their time to make a difference. So trusting in the process, showing up. And one key ingredient that I probably realized very late, is also to enjoy the process. I think the first few years I only was a neurotic wreck because I'm like, oh my god, ye karna hai, wo karna hai, itna sab kuch kaise karenge? And then I was like, I'm not having fun in this process. And how does it matter if we're doing all this work, but we are not enjoying it ourselves? So building in that enthusiasm, looking forward to every single day, celebrating those small wins, probably दुनिया को पता भी नहीं चलेगा कि अरे ये win था. So a simple win that I was sharing with a friend of mine, she was like, "What are you being present to today?" I love having coaches as friends, right? They ask these such powerful questions, and I told her that what, my book has just released, and I'm not even worried about whether people will like the book or not. This will be such a shocker to 2016 Shweta, who used to hang on to external validation by a thread, right? Who would need that validation to come in, oh my God, Shweta, you did such a good job, and things like that, right? Because I had no belief in my own abilities. I did not trust myself, and I was hanging on to every single word. And now, when I'm writing to people, I'm like, yeah, do let me know what you think about the book. But not because it'll change my opinion of what the work is, but because I'm just curious saying, what did you take away from it? And that is such a big difference. Bahar ki duniya mein, it is a very small thing, right? Like, what even does that make? But that is such a big win for you, that you have come such a long way from who you used to be to who you are today. So, if we were to celebrate these little wins, even though it may not be visible or tangible or equivalent to what society values as success, when you start noticing this progress in you, it just gives you more motivation to show up for yourself, right? Now I'm much more bolder. I can take on bigger projects than I've ever dreamed of. So it comes with that journey. So I would say that find that balance, clarify your intentions in terms of what is it that you really want to create, in your life. Think long term and then act short term. Start by taking bite-sized action, saying what is the next step, what is the next step, and build over it. Show up with unwavering perseverance, because nobody's going to come and tell you to do the work, as a solopreneur especially. So show up for yourself, be patient whether or not you see the results, and have fun along the way.
हैव फन यस तो श्वेता इतनी सारी चीजें करने के लिए लाइक यू हैव अचीव्ड अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स यू हैव टू बी वेरी क्लियर यू हैव टू बी वेरी सेल्फ अश्योर्ड एंड यू हैव टू बी वेरी इंटेंशनल कि क्या करते जा रहे हो आप तो अगर इंटेंशन की बात करें तो व्हाट आर द मे बी 3 थिंग्स जो हम इनकलकेट कर सकते हैं अपने आप में टू बिकम मोर इंटेंशनल इन आवर डे टू डे लाइव्स
Yeah, interesting question. I would say that one, creating space without devices or external stimuli in your day-to-day life and routines, right? बहुत ज़्यादा external noise हम consume करते हैं, and to be intentional, we have to be able to hear our inner voice. So to do that, we need to create that space and time. So maybe it can be like, for example, I love going on long walks, if possible, without my phone and headphones also. It just allows me to be with myself, right? So maybe identify activities like that for you to create that space. The second, I would say, have some form of reflective practice, either journaling or meditation. Have some form of reflective practice of tuning in to yourself and saying, what is it that I'm feeling? What is it that I'm sensing? What am I feeling called towards? What do I know I need to give up or let go of? All of these practices will just help you grow one step above the other, right? It's like building blocks. So having a reflective practice for yourself in whatever format works, right? I have clients of mine who say pen and paper is not for me. Can I leave a WhatsApp audio note to myself as a journaling practice? And they love listening back to themselves with the emotion, with the voice. So it doesn't matter, like customize these practices, use technology in your favor to make it happen on a regular basis, right? And the third, I would say, build meaningful connections. We are social beings, and our meaning making also comes from one, who we are being in relation to others and how we are being seen by others. As an introvert, I used to really not prioritize relationships because self sufficiency is also a way where you don't seek out, right? But over the last few years, I've realized how much value and depth and joy relationships can bring to you. And I mean relationships where there are real conversations with depth, not replying in emojis, right? So let me be very clear. Meaningful connections where you talk about things that matter, right? Today we are very hyper connected, but we are very lonely. That can be addressed by having these relationships. It can be a group of friends where you have unfiltered conversations about what you're going through. the deeper things about, you're not feeling embarrassed to share. These meaningful connections will really help you be more intentional, will make you feel seen and heard, and say that, okay, hey, I'm doing okay. It may not be that I'm where I should have reached, but I'm doing okay, right? And gives you that momentum to keep going. So I would say these three things.
So many beautiful things. I was listening to you very intently कि हाँ ये चीज़ें हमें करनी चाहिए and I do some of them. I don't do them regularly, but I think होता है मतलब rather than perfection, keep doing them wherever
Absolutely,
you
keep showing up. Yeah.
can. और श्वेता फिर ऐसी भी कोई चीज़ें हैं जो हमें अवॉइड करनी चाहिए if we want to be more intentional.
बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, बट आई वुड से इफ आई हैड टू कीप इट टू द bare minimum, don't do something because the world expects you to do it, right? Don't do it for
Well,
causes. Don't do anything for causes that are not meaningful for you. So if you don't aspire for that BMW, don't do it to be one up your cousins, right? Don't invest all your life savings for that. The second I would say is never dismiss an emotion. All emotions are trying to tell you something. So maybe you don't have the time and space to indulge. Like, say, if I'm giving a boardroom presentation at that time, if I'm feeling sadness, I can't say, okay, let's pause everything and let me journal why I'm feeling sad. No, I'm not saying being that impractical, but maybe noticing that, hey, I was feeling sad and I'm going to look at what made me feel sad later tonight when I'm back home. Right? So, don't dismiss any feeling and try and see what that emotion is actually trying to tell you. And the third I would probably say is never settle for anything but the best in this life. You will get what you ask for, but you need to dare to dream big, to ask for what you want. When I was in my corporate job, I could have settled very easily in a comfort plush, job security and my life. But my gosh, I won't be feeling the way I feel today. I will not have grown in the ways I have grown today if I didn't take those chances. So take that leap of faith. Don't ignore and settle just because you feel like there is no way out. Seek, ask support, find the way out, but don't settle. That'll be my third thing.
थैंक यू फॉर शेयरिंग दैट एंड यू स्पीक वेरी ब्यूटिफुली. तो अब आप हमें अपने क्योंकि हमने आपकी इतनी सारी बातें सुनी, नाउ वी वांट टू नो अ लिटिल बिट अबाउट यू एंड वी वांट टू गो टू सैस इट अप जहाँ पे प्लीज टेल अस वन ऑफ द sassiest boldest thing you have done which changed the course of your life or maybe change your perspective about something.
Oh gosh, deciding to move out of my corporate job without applying to a single job. Not one. I didn't even apply. All I said was that this is not for me. And I walked out saying that I will find what it is for me. I would probably say that is the sassiest thing that I've done. And I would say it's a series of those choices wherein, even if it was not the immediately easy path, if it was not the conventional path where that probably most of my MBA batchmates took, I think having that courage to choose what I feel is right for me. And of course, I'm grateful that I had that support system in terms of my family and holding up that space for me. But I would say that is the sassiest thing I have done, playing bold.
ओके. तो यू क्विट योर जॉब विदाउट नोइंग योर नेक्स्ट स्टेप. तो उसके बाद आपने इमिडिएटली इस चीज़ पे वर्क करना स्टार्ट कर दिया विच इज़ नाउ बीइंग मिरेक्युलस.
Absolutely not. No, because when I quit the job, I had no idea. I had simply started by on my self discovery journey. I'd cultivated like a meditation practice, and I was just going through. But obviously, I had bills to pay, and I had to figure out how to sustain myself. So, in the interim, I actually had like a small content marketing company that I was running, where I would do thought leadership content for all your fintech founders and ghostwrite articles for ETCIO and things like that, because I used to be a corporate banker before. So the only skill I had was writing. So I said, how do I put the two together? And I did content marketing. So I started the company in 2020, I would say August or September. 2019, August or September, or earlier than that. Yeah, I think 2019, June, July, tak I had already started that. And that paid my bills to do my self discovery. And being miraculous happened. And again, I reached that point in 2022 where I knew that, so the content marketing company had grown. We had about 14 writers, account managers working with us. And again, I was at that call where I had to say that, do I take the content marketing business to the next level, or do I move out and do this full time? And again, it was a hard choice to make. And somewhere my heart wasn't in the content business. So I said, let me do this full time. And that's when we actually moved. So no, that's why I said clarity emerges in pieces. It didn't, being miraculous in today's shape and form took that many years to emerge. It didn't happen overnight.
या दैट्स व्हाई आई वांटेड टू आस्क यू कि किया क्या, बिकॉज हम लोग जब किसी की जर्नी सुनते हैं तो सुनना बहुत आसान होता है, अच्छा ये किया तो लुक सिंपल, बट अगर डिटेल में जाके डीप में जाके दूसरे की जर्नी देखो देन यू रियलाइज कि इतना सिंपल नहीं था.
Kahi bhi nahi hai, right? It's always a trade-off in life. I think us searching for an easy path is the issue in the first place. If we were to accept that ki cheeze mushkil hai and that we need to do what it takes to get the good things.
Yes. And now finally, Shweta, tell us about your book Far From Fine.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, this has also been 3 years in the making for those of you who want patience. I got the idea for the book in March 2021, but essentially the book is called Far From Fine, and it's about the journey of moving from autopilot to intentional living. Most of the things that Maitri, you've been asking me about, is to really say that we all say that I'm fine, all is well, but honestly speaking, we are very far from fine. We don't see others crumbling on our social media feeds, so we think that everybody is okay. But one thing I've realized in this line of work, the number of confessions I've heard from people who seem to be functioning so thoroughly in the outside world, I've seen what is happening inside, and I know that it's not that we are alone, right? So the question was, how can we get to a state where we are fine, and then once we are also fine, how do we go beyond that? How do we really thrive consciously in this brief life of ours? Like I said, I'm a life enthusiast and I'm really, really passionate about living a big life, and this book is a journey of walking you through step by step, like a roadmap to that personal transformation journey. So, from what Maitri said, where you're living on autopilot, where you're confused, you don't know what that next step is, to step by step finding your way out. So, it's like a gentle guide, and it is not an advice of list of things that you should do or shouldn't do. It's it's a list of nudges for you to explore and find your own answers. And we will also have a course around this entire thing, autopilot to intentional living. We've already done one cohort, we will do more of it. So stay tuned and simply follow along and see what answers emerge. And like I said, don't settle for mere existence. Ask for more from life and really live it up.
Yes. So please get Shweta's book because it is very much relevant in today's times, and check out her courses as well. I will link all the things in the show notes, in the podcast description, on my website. So you can check it out there. Shweta, it was lovely having you again and lovely speaking with you. I learned a lot, and I'm sure my listeners also learned a lot. So thanks again for your time and your insights.
Thank you.
अगर आपको ये एपिसोड वैल्यूएबल लगा तो प्लीज हेल्प लिटिल फिक्सेस रीच मोर पीपल बाय शेयरिंग इट विद समवन यू केयर अबाउट. यू कैन ऑल्सो गिव अस अ शाउट आउट ऑन इंस्टाग्राम. मेरा हैंडल है @littleFixesPodcast. दिस हेल्प्स मी इन ग्रोइंग द पॉडकास्ट और बहुत सारे और लोगों की हेल्प भी होती है इसको सुन के. आई एम ग्रेटफुल फॉर योर टाइम. अब मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वेडनेसडे को. तब तक के लिए खुद से प्यार करते रहो और सदा सैसी रहो. बाय. When I started this podcast in 2019, I didn't know much about the tools available and struggled with poor audio quality, blurry videos, and even losing the recording. Now I have switched to Zencaster. Zencaster not only gives me high quality audio and video podcast production, but also keeps the recording safe with its multi-layer backups even when the internet is unstable. It has a post-production feature which automatically removes sounds like and also reduces background noise with a click of a button. Go to zencaster.com/pricing and use my code LFP and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencaster paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Zencaster is free to try and their hobbies plan is always free.